appearance here has at least been partly responsible for the fact that this game is being covered in Italy. Bryan Robson set to captain England once again for the 35th time. And Roy Aitken, who's been captain of Scotland this season during a time of rebuilding. The season really following on after the Scots had, dare I say it once again, not really done justice to themselves in World Cup finals. I don't know who cracked the joke or in what language, but the referee clearly enjoyed it. So we await now the national anthem. And that, as ever, will be followed by Scotland the Brave. Notice that it wasn't the pipes who were playing, but the brass of the CWS band. Now for Scotland the Brave, we get the full works. A very erect Terry Butcher, sending to a tune, or as the Scots would refer to it, an anthem that he's now becoming increasingly used to. So you've seen a collection of pictures. Let's put that lineup in perspective as we look first at Scotland, with 4 at the back, 4 in midfield, and this new combination up front, McClare and McCoist, who together have scored 78 goals during the past season. 1 new cap in the side is Ian Wilson, and this is the England lineup. 5 changes from the team which played against Brazil. Woods, Wright, Hoddle, Hodge and Haitley coming in. Here's the 1 new cap. Well, we're not actually looking at Ian Wilson at the moment, but he is the 1 new cap. Plays for Leicester City. Wilson having been turned down, there he is with the high forehead. Plays for Leicester City, having been turned down in earlier days by Aberdeen and by Dundee. And of course an added ingredient to this fixture is the fact that there is 1 member of the Rangers side playing for Scotland, and there are 2 members of the Rangers side playing for England. Makes it very interesting for Ali McCoist, who will find that he's got to put the ball past this fellow, Chris Woods, and will be wanting to get the better of the man in front of Chris Woods, Terry Butcher. Scored one of England's goals in the victory a year ago at Wembley, the other scored by Huddle, with Graham Souness scoring from the penalty spot for Scotland. But that victory 12 months ago puts England ahead in the series, as was said earlier, by 41 to 40. Official greeting between Messrs Aitken and Robson. And Bryan Robson was clearly watching the skill spot last week. Friendly away from Fred Street, and Roy Aitken going around with a few words. And the scene is set for the most famous international of all, part this time of the Rous Cup. But in spite of that, a fixture which stands apart, whose importance is sometimes exaggerated. There's a feeling that it matters more to Scotland than it matters to England, but I've never been totally convinced of that myself. It's the enjoyment of putting one over on a neighbour. England who will get the match underway. Peter Beardsley is the first to touch the ball, and the captain soon in possession. Butcher, and some friendly boos. At least I hope they're friendly. This is Pearce, in his second appearance, and made his debut against Brazil. Could just be there were a few Celtic supporters in the crowd. This is Alex McLeish of Aberdeen, and his staff colleague Willie Miller, and back to a third member of the Aberdeen setup, Jim Leighton. McLeish and Miller playing together for the first time since the defeat by Denmark in the Mexico World Cup. Butcher getting there ahead of McCoist. Paul Matchday on the right side of the midfield for Scotland. Aitken inside him. Then Simpson and Wilson occupying the left side. It's a very good left foot. Be interesting to see how he adapts to the requirements of international football. Richard Gough playing out of position at right back. And of course was looking for it. First free kick goes to Scotland. McLeish, with the ginger hair, has come up on the near side. Richard Gough is up as well. Scored with his head in his fixture 2 years ago. McLeish, but a little bit of pushing. And the free kick given. Played in the last match against Belgium, having not managed to make the side earlier in the season. McLeish winning out over Haitley. It's going to be important for Scotland that McLeish should do so. Simpson. A rather unhappy season, Neil Simpson. In fact, only played 8 games for his club after being injured in the opening fixture. Came back in March. Peter Beardsley, who's come back with a bomb for England. Chris Waddle. Hately. Waddle. Wilson wants to push him into a corner and failed to do so. Stevens. And elected to go for the first time shot. It never looked like travelling Jim Leighton with it. Butcher, Beardsley and Miller, Wilson, Murdo McLeod, better known perhaps as a midfield player, but he played at left back against Luxembourg here, the only Scottish victory of the season. Stevens, Hately. I think it's fair to say that we have not had the usual frenetic start. It's not by the standards of this contest. It's Roy Aitken who seems to be looking for where Hoddle is going. This is Waddle, and this is Hoddle. Good early ball. Bryan Robson, offside, no. Which, I must say, surprised me. It's a problem for referees when they're asked to run the line, and the very experienced World Cup referee, Angelin, kept his flag down. But what a good early ball by Glenn Hoddle. Leclerc coming for it, right at his back. Hoddle. Tight but well done. And by Hately. Much more space on the left side. Here's Stuart Pearce of Nottingham Forest. Every time Butcher touches the ball, he's booed. McLeish, oh, hesitation. It's the last thing you want when Peter Beardsley's around. Leach had to challenge for the ball, and he waited and got away with it. Butcher telling him, showing him how it should be done. Paul McStay of Celtic. Murdo McLeod, club colleague, although he hasn't accepted a new contract. Turned by Simpson. Wilson. McLeish. Crowd enjoyed that as much because it tempted fate as anything else. Down yet, Alex McLeish. Looks a little tense. Sent a telegram and several letters. Wilson. McCoist, as seen by Mark Wright, but not quite so well used. This is Brian McClair. Simpson.
Interesting there, Mark Wright just dallied on the ball too long and gave the Scots a chance to get in there, but McClair with his first little run felt happy, I think, to end up on the floor, having not disgraced himself, rather than staying up with more determination. But that was the first little glance, and that's an instant view.
Beardsley, forward for Haitley. Miller just got a piece of it, and it was enough. The referee wanting to have words with Terry Butcher. English among the Germans' languages. Leclerc. Just a little push, I think. Free kick has been given. Brian Leclerc apparently given something of an ultimatum by Alec Ferguson at Old Trafford. Do you want to come or don't you? Waddle, Haitley and Beardsley forward for England. Haitley and McLeish. It's a nice turn. And Mark Wright needed some help from Gary Stevens. McLeod. Haitley huddles inside. Good to see him looking early for the ball like that. Sometimes Glenn Hoddle is criticised for the positions he takes up when he hasn't got the ball. Very distinct formations of each side with four in the middle. Free kick against Butcher, who is somewhat at odds with the German referee. And Brian Leclerc looks as though he wants to have a dig. Westwood's happy with the wall on the left side. Wilson is also on the ball, but I would doubt if he's going to take it. Certainly not going to try a shot because he's very much left-footed. Leclerc does. Well up by Hoddle. McStay. Richard Gough well forward. Simpson. Hasn't played since 1984, the match against France, but I must say has made a good start, Neil Simpson of Aberdeen. But as a unit, that could not be said about the Scottish back four. Kick against the Aberdonian. Simpson. Chris Waddle. Murdo McLeod. Didn't really have the pace to get away, and I think a free kick has been given. Looked a good challenge to me, but rather more importantly, it didn't to the referee. Right. Safe. Brian Leclerc. Ian Wilson. Good to see him get his chance. Good not only for Wilson, but for other players in their late 20s. He's 29. Perhaps feel that their chance is gone. Haitley is on his own up front, but Beardsley now pushing forward. Haitley doing a lot of running, comes out to the right with McLeish. the first time he's really got in front of McLeish. Huddle, for me, already looking sharper than he did 7 days ago. McLeish. Had a disappointing cup final, as he knows better than anyone. Free kick is given. And the Celtic Rangers confrontation between McClare and Butcher. A lot of free kicks going against the Rangers player. Butcher got forward again. And the Spurs central defender playing here officially at right back, getting forward at every possible opportunity, and suffered as a result this time. He and Mark Wright, the two players injured. Perfectly fair challenge for the ball. Butcher looking behind him. They both got up well. Gough actually won it, but after that, the heads clashed.
An example there of the referee acting very quickly and letting the trainers on because he'd realised that it was a nasty knock. We want to see referees keeping the game flowing, that's obvious, but when they do see that something semi-serious has happened like that, I think they'll both be all right at the end of the day, although they know they've had a whack there. Then it's good to see the referees understand that, as this one did, and stop the game immediately and get the trainers on. But none the worse for wear now, thank goodness.
We've had 15 minutes of this 105th meeting. No score. Miller at the stretch. Well won. Hately a little bit late. And two bodies in one area, immediately followed by one body in the other. It's well won by Miller. Chris Waddle, who played it through. And Hately was a little bit late. I don't think he could stop himself, in fairness. So, early injuries. Willie Miller, such a good servant to Scotland. Played in the opening match of the season against Bulgaria, but not since. Mark Hately starting a game after a long time out for England. And the subject of some speculation as to whether he will join Messrs Butcher and Woods at Rangers, and therefore meet Miller rather more often next season in the competition. But he, like the two previously injured players, seems to have recovered. Leighton with well-padded elbows. Hodge and McStay and Robson and Aitken, not particularly well, the last one. Waddle. Almost to Hately. Good interception by Paul McStay. Murdo McLeod. Found space and Miller in possession. Gough to his right. Two forward. McCoist is the player down the middle. McClare in the inside right position. This is coming from McCoist. Won well by Wright. Wilson. Nice turn by Aitken. Hoddle needs somebody left side. There isn't anybody there, but he's found Beardsley. Hately now going to the oodles of room on the left. Robson forward. Hately. Oh, the parry fell kindly for Jim Leighton. But it was a rasping drive. Bryan Robson, the player looking to get on to any possible rebound. Beardsley. And it was away from Robson, a little fortuitously, I think, for Jim Leighton. Hoddle with the corner. Hateley came in again. Hoddle once more. Oh! Just about point-blank range. Bryan Robson is unable to control the header, which goes past Leighton's left-hand post. Header of great power, but the ball was travelling so fast when it came to him, I don't think he really had too much chance of directing it. And there were two players up as well. I think he may have not seen it until quite late then, Bryan Robson. Here's the England captain again. McLeish. Hoddle. Calm as you like. Pearce. Steve Hodge. Hasn't produced too many dividends on the left side yet, and won't if he's given passes like that. Pearce. Now the chance for Hodge, no. And the throw is the other way. Pearce indicating the long throw. It's a good one too, looking for Hateley. And the verdict goes against him. Although McLeish was up very early over Hateley's back. It's a moot point as to who challenged first. The referee decided that the foul was Hateley's. 20 minutes gone. Still no score, but pretty open, entertaining stuff. Hateley. Waddle. Gary Stevens on the right. Wasn't really a very good ball. Stevens really needed that slightly further ahead of him so he could run onto it. He was given ball and defender in almost the same place. But a free kick has been given for the push. And all the big men have taken positions on the other side of Jim Leighton's goal. Butcher, Wright and Hateley. Robson actually had moved to the penalty spot and was unmarked. The Tottenham duo. Hoddle takes it. Richard Gough puts it out. And he should certainly know all the moves that Hoddle might supply. Play, of course, for the same club. Hoddle with all the set pieces. Butcher just outside the 6-yard area. Wright is up as well. Not a good corner. Nobody on the near post for the flick on then, incidentally. Hodge is offside. Two taking one, and the 2-1. Pearce has Hodge on the touchline, goes inside the Butcher. Mark Hateley coming quite deep, and McLeish a little unsure as to whether to follow him or not. Miller following Beardsley and fouling him. Butcher was the player we saw moving at the top of the picture. Variation from Hoddle. Good challenge by McLeish on Haitley. Foul by Pearce on McCoist. .38 goals this season. Well, I've added one. It's actually 37 goals this season. Is that a forecast I've just made? Free kick is England's. Stevens. And I think those in the crowd who maybe felt that their side were on a hiding to nothing perhaps have upped their sights of expectation a little bit. Scottish supporters I'm talking about. Haitley. That's nice. They pulled away from him, to be fair, the two defenders. Wilson, well won. Simpson. Got to come inside or go back because there was nobody wide. Miller. McCoist. Butcher at his back. On by Matchday, but not with real clinical determination, I don't think. Wood changing the season. Right arm over to Stevens. Hoddle. Second low one to Haitley. That's nicely played by Beardsley. Haitley. No foul, says the referee. Haitley's surprised. Waddle. No way. Nice one touched up from the Scots. Bryan Robson brings it to an end. That's a foul by Murdo McLeod because he both pushed and obstructed. Hoddle. Ball getting up quite a lot. Miller. Gough. Hoddle. Robson having a bit of shirt pulling from Aitken. Simpson. Aitken having to get there quickly. Free kick has been given anyway, but the Scots captain certainly had to take the helm then. Wilson getting through when he shouldn't have been allowed to, on by Maurice for McClare, well claimed. Beautifully picked up by Chris Woods. Pearce not finding the same problems as he had on Tuesday at Wembley. And faced by Muller. That's offside against Steve Hodge. Gough looking into the sun. Butcher with no such problems. McLeish. Bounce is often really quite high. Robson, Aitken to him. Well won. Haven't seen the flow from England that we saw certainly in the first half against Brazil. Hodge. Forward for Haitley. Beardsley. Started things really going well for England against the Brazilians. This is McClare. Won by Matchday. Butcher. It's all a bit tit for tat. And nobody going anywhere particularly fast. Beardsley. Waspous challenge from Hodge. McClare, Simpson ahead of him, number 10. Butcher across. Beardsley wanting the ball, nice return. Foul by Pearce. Challenge through McCoist. Wilson. Play confined 15 yards either side of the halfway line. Simpson. McLeod. McClare. Foul by Wright. A little impetuous. Didn't really need to make the challenge. Aitken, good dummy. And something of a nasty daisy cutter there. For a big man, that was a very smooth dummy. He's winning the aerial battle more often than not. Free kick is against Hoddle, which surprised him, and maybe 1 or 2 in the crowd too. And there's another for Scotland, just for the little push. McCoist is down the middle. Gough has come forward on the far right. Aitken. Wilson. Everything to Aitken's right. Proclaimed. And Gough caught Woods then. Miller. Now Matchday with room to move into. Is he prepared to take on Pearce? Nicely on by McClare to McCoist. And Bryan Robson with the covering header. Simple but effective attack, which has lifted the crowd. Sides, I think it's fair to say, going better down their right flank than down their left. Matchday with the corner. Won by McLeish, but only because he leapt on Mark Haitley.
Richard Gough, the one man who, that's McLeish, but Gough there is the one man who seems to remember it's a Scotland-England game today and has got that devil in his play. The Scots really look to me at the moment as if they're still feeling their way and lacking in confidence and lack belief in themselves. There was a sign there where they were prepared to attack. And what the game is lacking is the initiative and the attacking drive by either side. 4-4-2 at its worst does bring a game like this without the excitement. And that's what we're getting at the moment. We want to see it open up.
Bryan Robson is the player called offside. And news from the Republic of Ireland that the West Ham United midfield player Liam Brady has scored the opening goal in the match there against Brazil. And by McClare, but to nobody in particular. Hoddle. Stevens. Hately. With more room that time. Stevens. Beardsley. The challenge by Simpson. And again. Wilson. That's nice to Matchday. That's nice to Maurice. But it runs away. Good contest between the two captains. And we're 10 minutes away from half-time, still no score. Gough. McClare really wasn't watching. Aitken, a lot of tidying from midfield. Maurice. McClare's run on and he's offside. Needed the instant through ball. If England's rhythm is a little stuttering in the middle of the field, and really gets the feeling that Scotland is finding a bit of oil in the works and making it flow rather better as a result. Stevens with about 25 yards of space. Looking long for Hoddle, again ahead of the ball. Simpson. Aitken seems to always have a lot of time. This can't be pleasing Bobby Robson. This is Pearce. Beardsley, lovely touch. Pearce again. Hately in the middle. Hoddle was coming up behind, but Hately went to turn for the shot. Steve Hodge. No foul. It's made on the cloud over there. Steve Hodge complaining. But Beardsley, once again, the player looking most likely to lift England as he did then. Foul by Hodge. Owed a bit, I think, to the previous incident. McLeod. Simpson. Free kick just slightly won. First challenge was made by Chris Waddle, who really hasn't got into the match yet. That's a rather poor ball. Robson. Huddle. Beardsley. Aitken caught by him. And Simpson helping out. McLeod. Wilson. Doing the simple things, Wilson. Matchday. Richard Gough on the right side. McLeod in possession. Gough into the middle. Shot surely far too early. There were many better possibilities for McLeod then than the shot from fully 30 yards. Hoddle for Haitley, McLeish there. Matchday. England ball given. The French landsman. Runs kindly. Hodge. Well claimed by Wilson. Beardsley. Miller hounding him. Beardsley did well to keep his balance until the end when he had no chance, but the ball was fairly won. Matchday. Another curious decision by McCoist. He ran into the crowd when the ball carrier desperately wanted width. This is Waddle. Great weights. Put away by McLeish. And a little bit of a knock there, I think, collected, but Waddle making Murdo McLeod understand how Greg Downs of Coventry City was feeling about this stage last week. Thing was that Downs stuck to his guns. Hoddle with the corner. Leighton comes for it. Oh dear, oh dear. Leighton furious with himself. Well, one newspaper said this morning that Scotland wouldn't lose as a result of a goalkeeping error. But he had his heart in his mouth then, the writer, as well as the goalkeeper. On by Hodge to nobody in particular. Neither goalkeeper has had to make a save, and half-time rapidly approaches.
Yes, indeed. There was the one moment when Haitley burst through there and hit his shot rather too high for an angle, which gave Leighton a chance to make it. But really, the difference between this week and last week, you could say there are many, but one is that neither side really has been prepared to take risks and push men up in attack. They're both really not confident enough to take the other side on. And that's really why we're having the sort of game that we are. What it desperately needed was a goal early on, like in the cup final, and then the other side's got to come out and play. And maybe we'll get it just before half-time.
Simpson. So picking up under observation, Jim, seemed to me to ask questions about England, because they came into this match very much as the favourites. But these days, teams find it difficult to go out and say, we are the better side and we're going to prove it, seems to me. Waddle the player down. And a bit of a wigging from the German referee to Ian Wilson. That's the England bench. Don Howe on the left. all the players available except Peter Shilton on the right there. David Seaman, the number 2 goalkeeper. And there the Scottish bench. Only 2 substitutes being allowed, but the 2 managers dressing as many players as they wanted to, working to the World Cup system. Davy Cooper having a joke about something. 2 minutes of the first half remaining. Still 0-0. Only 2 fixtures between these 2 sides have finished that way over all the years. Bash in the air for Bryan Robson, or back of the head perhaps more. Pearce. Strong challenge, an effective one by Miller. Gough. Andy Roxburgh said that he wanted passion and determination. Didn't add, perhaps to make up for certain things lacking. The last minute of the first period, and the England captain Bryan Robson is still feeling the effects of the knock on the back of the head. Stevens. Hodge. Won by McLeish. Hodge offering himself on the edge of the area, so is Beardsley, so is Waddle, better placed. Stevens square. Hateley comes across, Hodge at the back, but it's a poor cross by Gary Stevens, who hasn't so far in this contest done justice to his ability. And it's just a question of the last few seconds, those which the referee has allowed for the injuries. On by Aitken. McCoy's chasing, but that will belong to Woods. Butcher in possession. The Englishman who plays in Scotland, but there is no score in the international match between England and Scotland at half-time. Bands of pipes and drums just making their way off the pitch. And we await the return of the players. And plenty of time, I think, for Jimmy Hill to give a considered view of the first half.
Well, I am glad that the band did decide not to go off a moment or two earlier, Barry, because we do get a few letters from people who do love to watch the bands. It is quite a sight here, but just in thanking them for their display, you'll excuse me talking over the top of them. I hope it doesn't interfere with the music. But if I were a scout coming today to look at Mark Hateley, who supposedly is on the transfer market, you know, and Brian McClare, I'd be hard put to it to put a good remark in my notebook, because really the forwards on either side, and whoever you call forwards these days, have not really sparked this game into life yet. And perhaps those players are suffering a little, being on the end of not very much. But up to now, they haven't been inspirational. If anybody's going to turn it, for me this afternoon, it will be little Beardsley, who's done that recently so often for England, or Paul Matchday for Scotland, who's had the courage to pick hold of the ball in the middle of the field and run 25 yards with it and create a bit of panic in the England defence, which this afternoon is almost an event. But I do feel a little sorry for the Scottish player. They've not had a good time recently, and you can feel their lack of confidence, really. The spirit's there, but there does seem to be a lack of confidence and belief and really understanding, as you would expect. And perhaps England should, of the two sides, take the initiative, take a risk, attack, and light the game up.
Referee just checking that it's still 11 aside, and away goes Scotland at the start of the second half. Scotland, who found goals hard to come by. Just 6 in the last 10 internationals, stretching back into the Mexico World Cup. Ian Wilson. Neither manager nor the national coach of Scotland has made a substitution in half-time. Robson with the official title as manager, but Andy Roxburgh referred to as national coach. Richard Gough. Christ. Steve Hodge. Not really able to get into the game too much in the first period. And the contest between McLeish and Hateley, certainly McLeish is well ahead on points. Both in the air and on the deck. And that's after a rather worrying start for the Scotsman. 5 minutes or so to settle down. Mark Wright for England. One of the England players with something to prove. It's a bit short. In fact, it could set up a counter. Oh, it should have done, but a poor ball from Miller. Stevens. Sure, his manager has required of him rather better use of the ball in the second period. England ball. And hundreds, if not thousands, around the ground disagree with the linesman. Those 2 0-0 draws I referred to towards the end of the first half came back in 1872 and here at Hampden in 1970. Without what a hat-trick. This is what. Placed by Wilson. Simpson. Russell. Matchday. Aitken. Gough moving forward on the right side. McCoist and McClare forward. Aitken's gone for the return. That's a corner. Stay has gone to take it. Aitken around the penalty spot. McCoist in the 6-yard area. Gough coming forward. Brushed both his head and before that Hoddles. This is McClare. Still plenty of Scots forward. Waddle. A lot of room to move in. Hodge going to the middle. Everybody going away from him, nobody coming to him on the England side. Bryan Robson! Good heavens, that's the best shot of the match by a distance. But sadly, from England's point of view, it was the wrong side of the post. What a lovely strike, though. First time, no hesitation, and it was mightily close. Waddle, who set up the opportunity. Total stands at 19 at the moment. Bryan Robson, goals for England, which puts him level with Gary Lineker. And in case you don't know, the reason that Lineker is not included this afternoon is that he's playing for Barcelona against Real Madrid this weekend in the Spanish playoffs. International football is international in every sense these days, players coming from all over Europe. Matchday would have been better if that had run on to Gough, I think. McClare picked it up. Gough. Aitken. Little room for manoeuvre, but he's done not quite well enough. 5 minutes of the second half have elapsed, and we've seen something which could accurately be described as a shot on goal. A very good one too. But Chris Wood so far virtually untroubled. Hately did well. Beardsley. He was trying to pick out Gary Stevens, who was coming forward. McCoist. Wilson. Right idea, wrong application. Huddle. Started brightly, but hasn't maintained that start. Aitken, certainly leading by example, the Scottish captain. Take it for Hately's untidy challenge on Matchday. McLeish starts to jog forward. There he goes. Chin to top. Run forward can now be followed by a run back after conceding the free kick. He's winning his 46th cap. Stevens. McLeod. It will come through to McCoist. Wilson wanted it early. McClare is in the middle. Came off Butcher, whether by intent or not, only he would know for sure. Right. Hoddle. Hodge. Hately was in space behind him. Hoddle. Robson. Stevens. Waddle on the touchline. England trying to find some space. Beardsley offers. Pulls out Miller as a result. Fullback to fullback, but Pearce could be in trouble, but got out of it very well. The ball was bouncing with some awkwardness for him. Hodge. 3 in the box for England, but not there. Did well then, Stuart Pearce, who for the record is the 999th player to be capped by England in the history of English international football. Matchday. Not a good ball. Pearce again. Gough will meet him. Woof. And the free kick rightly given against Pearce. Gough didn't flinch or react. Butcher. Hodge. Bryan Robson. Hately. Waddle usually finds two for company in blue shirts when he gets the ball. Ten minutes gone. No score still. Good interception by Miller. Gough certainly wouldn't know that he hasn't played full-back for Tottenham, and playing in the centre of the defence there, of course. Simpson. I think that free kick is being given for the first challenge, and a word with the England captain. Just get the impression that the England captain is somewhat irritated by the fact that the England team is not firing as he would wish. McClare. It's coming to Wilson. Worked nicely. McCoist. It's done well. McLeish. Good block by Butcher. Matchday. Something close to a Hampden wall we're hearing now. Good play by Matchday. Beautifully done. 4 to 5. McLeish at the back. All over the place. McCoist. Well, we have some excitement at long last. Good stuff from Scotland, and this is the man who made it. He's a good player, Paul Matchday. He's been in the side an awful long time, although he's only 22 years old, but sometimes hasn't really believed in himself sufficiently. Foul by Aitken. Robson. Gough. Waited quite calmly for the bounce. Foul by Hoddle. And I think we'll have a substitution. And the man to come on is Charlie Nicholas. And he's replacing Bryan McClare. And there are those who say that that's what he will do at Celtic. But McClare really hasn't done his transfer possibilities too much credit this afternoon. So a forward for a forward, and McCoist and Nicholas are now in tandem for Scotland. Nicholas. Still of Arsenal, as they will remind you on the North Bank at Highbury. Score with the odd deflection of the telling goals of Liverpool's final. And Robson still looking rather concerned. And perhaps with greater justification than before. Nicholas, right, still right, foul by Gough.
Well, England's captain, as Barry said, not looking too happy a moment or two ago, but he's convinced me today in a match that lacked a bit of style. There he is, right in the thick of it. But he is a midfield player of a class that we don't possess anywhere else. He's played with nonchalance in a scrappy game in the middle there, distributing it, always able to make a pass. Occasionally, not so much of his Royal Rover stuff, but I don't mind that. I think he could be the rock in midfield on which England could build their future hope. So, not such a bad performance as Barry and I might disagree on, but that's the delightful thing about this game of football. We all see it through different eyes, and with 22 players to judge, it would be surprising if we all ended up with the same view.
Actually, Jim, I didn't say he was playing badly. I said I think he was frustrated that England were not playing well. Cut out by Pearce. Perhaps we can examine the tape later, Jim. Gough. Won by Pearce. Right. Butcher. Stevens. Robson just inside. Hoddle found a bit of a hole. Waddle. Pearce. All back by one for the Scots. Hodge. A nice touch from Beardsley, which wasn't really used. England's season, which began disappointingly against Sweden, reached a high point against Spain. Had its problems in Turkey. And not being able to show superiority against the Scots at Hampden, in spite of all the pre-match comments. Not that that will surprise too many Scots, perhaps. This is McCoist. Wilson to his left. A little ambitious, perhaps, the shot. Scotland have only had one victory. That was here against Luxembourg. And the chances in the European Championships already over. But not here. In the Rous Cup, by any manner of means. It was Gough who went in for the challenge. Aitken demanding more. Pearce. Miller. Haitley. Very simple put in by McLeish, which brought that to an end. Oh dear, Stevens. No foul. Neither Stevens nor Wilson with reason to be pleased over that incident. Butcher. Has given the ball away so often, the Everton fullback. Wilson. Beardsley. Space for Pearce. Everything to his right. Hodge and Haitley the front two. Robson just behind. Haitley. Robson had to stop, otherwise he would have been offside. Wilson for Scotland. Simpson. Nicholas. Just too far ahead of him. Beardsley. Wilson. Seeing rather more of the ball as an attacking player in this half, but not finding the passing that he would wish to find. To chase that from Waddle. and for the first time this afternoon, has looked tired. Bit of arrogance from McLeish. Very well played. 20 minutes gone. Still no score. Beardsley. Hodge making a run to his side, and Beardsley being allowed to go through. Good save by Jim Leighton. No foul has been given. The two central defenders claiming that Beardsley pushed his way through, but McLeish and Miller bisected by the little man. No question of a foul, and a very good save by Jim Leighton, who was out very quickly. Wilson. Gough. Matchday. Butcher just holding him up. Simpson. McCoist. Charlie Nicholas up the crossbar. McCoist. Off Bryan Robson, and then Butcher and a corner. Good heavens above, what is happening in the England defence? Well, is that the last time that square crossbar will deny a Scotsman? McStay. McLeish. Another corner. Look again at the Charlie Nicholas. That was a shot, I think, by McCoist. Would have gone in. Goalkeeper, I don't think, would have covered the ground. McStay. Wilson. Beardsley rather quicker off the mark, but McStay timed the challenge actually better.
Well, to the benefit of the game and not manager Bobby Robson's nerves, the England formation is changing somewhat. The midfield players are attacking and not getting back, as you saw there, and left so much space. And Scotland, for once, had the confidence to get in it, and really that must go down as a bad miss with a point-blank goal at the end of the day. But as I say, the game is opening up now. Both sides think they might score a goal. Can you imagine that?
Robson. Stevens. Hodge snips in. Oh, Richard Gough was caught a bit by his club colleague then. Hampden has certainly come to life. That's Butchers. Not quite as neatly as he would have wished. Simpson available. Nicholas. Gough. McCoist in the middle, watched by Wright. And they can keep that situation for the corner. Aitken on the near post. Nicholas and McCoist in the 6-yard area. Good shout by Chris Woods. Robson. Robson. Beardsley up as well, so is Robson. Man over is Waddle, who's not offside in spite of the appeals. Blocked by McLeish, and fell a little kindly for Jim Leighton. He did well because he was coming across and had to correct his position a little bit. McLeish who got it there, and then it came off Hodge. So 20 minutes left. Chances of a goal apparently increasing. No one likely to forecast at which end. Butcher with a free kick. McLeish. Colleagues together, no doubt, which are the 2-1. Hoddle over Gough. Away by Murdo McLeod. Stevens. And looking back on that moment, when Peter Beardsley went right between the two central defenders of Scotland. I wonder whether Bobby Robson is considering changing his permutation up front before too long. Jim?
Well, it depends what his aim is in this match. If it's to put himself in a position to win the Rous Cup, and I'm sure Sir Stanley would have liked that, then I think he should bring some fresh legs on and certainly replace Mark Hateley, who's run all over the place without really achieving any. He's trying hard enough, but nothing seems to come off for him. He can't get on the end of any cross, and so if you're wanting to win the match, fresh legs, Cotty up front probably, and maybe either, well, probably Webb for Hoddle in the middle of the field.
Chris Waddle. Hoddle is in the middle, but clearly pushed Simpson. The crowd, 64,713. The ground, of course, has changed, but how times change. 50 years ago, there were nearly 150,000 people in this stadium to watch a contest between England and Scotland.
And just to finish that remark about Mark Hateley, I think once again Bobby Robson showing what a fair man he is in many ways. He's given Mark Hateley his chance. He's had so many 10 minutes and 15 minutes. I think he probably feels he deserves a whole game to try and prove himself.
McCoist ran into Wilson's ground, really. Gough, but it's well used. Aitken. Nicholas, not looking too sprightly if the blow's just come on, but here he is. That's good play. Nice play by McStay again. Right is the back man. Aitken. Well, which foot might be a question it's reasonable to ask. Whose was higher, Aitken's or Robson's? Typical piece of covering by Wilson in this match. He's fitted in there very well. That was one of the best passes he's played too to Charlie Nicholas. Forward from McCoist. Good challenge. The appeals are from the crowd, not from the players. Very good challenge by Butcher. And we're into the last quarter of an hour. Still both sides genuinely looking for the goal. Waddle, stayed really by Simpson. Waddle in with the shooting chance. Beardsley, plenty of England players forward, out by McLeish. Wilson. Beardsley, the work that he's got through. Butcher. Robson. Foul by Aitken. The referee wears play on, England in possession. Serious position for Haitley to come from, but held down his man in winning the ball.
Just not Mark Haitley's afternoon there. Reasonably fair challenge. Referee might just as well have allowed it. It was a good ball, chance of an attack, but no, the whistle went. He must be a disappointed man, because you can see in everything he does there, chasing the ball at the moment, that he's desperate to try and prove himself, not only for England, but I suppose for an English club as well.
Not to mention the Scottish one, not very far away at Hampden Park. Actually, Haitley wouldn't have been playing in this game at all had he not been sent off, playing for AC Milan last weekend. With his chance for England and the possible conversations with managers, it might be said to be a bit fortuitous for him. McLeod. Wilson. Gough. Forward again, Richard Gough. Paul Matchday. Gough. Nicholas. McCoy. Well, a man who's been scoring goals has looked for the opportunity every time. The challenge just forcing the ball up, although it came off the foot of the attacker. Waddle, Wilson for company. Stevens. Waddle and Haitley down the middle. Robson is square of Hoddle. That's too strong, I think. Roxburgh looking very pensive. He's the man with his hand to his mouth. Craig Brown is number 2, sitting alongside him. Haitley. Robson. Hodge. Haitley. Good ball from Bryan Robson. Strong challenge by McLeod, which was effective. Hodge. Waddle wants it long. Haitley. His facial reaction said everything about that. Saw the cross he's wanted. He was in front of his man, but he couldn't get the header down. 10 minutes remaining for decision. Score sheet blank. Nicholas. I doubt if England will worry too much if he's going to turn little footwork on that far away from goal. For the England players, now a little less than 10 minutes of a very long time playing, coming to an end, bearing in mind the World Cup. That was out. Scotland still have to play against Brazil. Hateley and Hoddle work. Beardsley reacted very quickly indeed. Butcher. Wilson. Aitken always seems to be there to add a helping leg. Wilson. Nicholas. And really, Wright should not be drawn into a challenge like that. Woods, who's never been on the losing side, making his 9th appearance, his 4th having started the match. He's happy with the wall, the referee's not happy with the free kick. And get the impression that the observation was, I will tell you when you can take it. Blowing the whistle clearly now. Wilson. Right. Pierce. Aitkins says watch Hodge. Waddle. He's been very hot on foot up. Beardsley. Instantly played right. This is Stevens. Now can he find a good cross? Hateley. The whistle had gone long since. The free kick is Scotland's. Good across from Gary Stevens, but a foul by Hateley.
Actually, to be fair to him, it was an inch-perfect pass by Gary Stevens there, and it would be good to see him come back. He had a very, very nasty injury indeed and was out for a long time. And there's Bobby Robson. Not looking the happiest man in the world, because he knows he's going to have those after-match interviews where he explains to the nation how it was that England would be the team who cannot win the Rous Cup now, I would think.
Beardsley. Waddle, good save again. Didn't perhaps get the power that he was hoping for, but the goalkeeper reacted very well and made a good stop. Beardsley once again. It's a good cross. Waddle coming in on it. The goalkeeper adjusted his position well. Made a good save. And Waddle, as a result of his efforts, is injured. Just checking back on the position in the Rous Cup, England would have a point from the match against Brazil and a point here. Scotland would have a point from this match. And they play Brazil on Tuesday. 5 minutes of the match remaining. The players had that time to prevent this being only the third scoreless contest in 115 years, and this the 105th match. Members of the constabulary taking their positions on the track around the pitch. Beardsley. Robson won it well. He and Aitken have really been major personalities in this game. It's handball. And news of the playoff for the place in the First Division. Jim Melrose in the first leg has given Charlton Athletic the lead against Leeds United. Second leg coming up on Monday. Hoddle prepared for the free kick, or will it be Waddle? Butcher is forward and coming for it. Haitley didn't make it, comes to Hodge, blasts across the face. Wilson. Good reason to be pleased with his belated international appearance. Nice play by Hoddle. Paul McStay, one of the contenders for man of the match. Oh dear, not with passes like that. Pearce. Haitley ever hopeful forward. Free kick against Gough for the attempted bear hug on his Tottenham colleague. Pearce to take. We're into the last 2 minutes. Haitley and McLeish, neither made it. Out by Simpson. England pressing at the finish. Stevens. Beardsley. Waddle, too tight. But he's had a fine season, Chris Waddle. And shown not only his abilities as a winger, but his abilities as a passer from the middle of the field. One or two passes played in the cup final, and perhaps more in the game against Brazil, were worthy of a Hoddle, I thought. We won't have Hoddle with him at Tottenham next season. Peter Shilton, rare position of the onlooker. Neil Webb alongside him, still waiting for his chance. He won't get it here. The 1000th cap will come next season. Hoddle. Stevens. Simpson. Haitley. Mistake by Simpson. England trying to get up in support of Haitley. He's got through the gap. And he's got a corner out of it. Bit of lack of concentration. Beardsley rushes to take it. England certainly ending on top in these final moments. Out by Gough from his more accustomed club position. Pearce. Referee has whistled to his lips, points to the dressing rooms, and we have the third 0-0 draw between Scotland and England. The substitutes didn't take part. The first to make their way, Pat Nevin. And expressions of much disappointment from some of them, certainly. But Roy Aitken, like Bryan Robson, certainly played a captain's part. And the two skippers lead the way off. Final thoughts from Jimmy Hill.
To be fair, I think Scotland had the better chances, really, in the course of the game, and shouldn't be too ashamed of their performance. But following last week's cup final, of course, it wasn't a spectacle that thrilled us very much. I think Bobby Robson's best triumph in the afternoon can be said that he will now know which are his best two central defenders. At least he will profit from that.
But as for the crowd who made their way to Hampden, the Scottish supporters with considerable doubt, and the English supporters hoping for a repeat of the performance in Spain, they've watched the match which failed to produce a goal. The result